Okay, what's up, guys? This is episode 7, 007 of the Pat Danger podcast. There you are, we got Leann in the building. What's up, Leann? Oh, we got a mystery person in
Hey,
the
what's up?
background. Hold on, let's make this a joint interview. Who is that? Is that your fiance?
Yeah,
Yo, we can make this a double interview if you want. All right, let me
she's gonna
stop.
go shower right now.
All right, let me stop being an idiot. Now I lost my train of thought. Okay. All right, I think we're good. We're good to go. Um, can you see me? Oh yeah, no, you can't see my like webcam on Discord, right?
Uh, no, I can't see it on Discord. I'm watching on Twitch. This is like so trippy because there's this lag, and I'm like hearing you in real time, but everything I'm watching is like lagging.
Oh damn, that's kind of annoying. Is that gonna throw you off, or you're good?
No, I'll do fine with the conversation. It's just kind of funny to look at.
It's like that too. Sometimes I'll open up my own Twitch like while I'm streaming because I'll have to mess around with some setting, and it is really really like disorienting. I think because like you said, I'll say something, but like especially in real time too, because like I'm here like saying something, and then like 5 seconds later on my actual Twitch, I'm like whatever. So yeah, this is episode number 7. I am here with. Do you go by DJ Get Psyched or do you just go by Leann nowadays?
Go by Leann nowadays.
Right. You're well. Was the DJ Get
Yeah.
Psyched that was for when you were working at the college station?
It was just DJ Psyched. The Get Psyched came from the podcast. Like I was just DJ Psyched for a while, and then when the radio station was like, "Hey, we need more people to make podcasts and videos for us. Like, do you want to make a show?" It was actually, you know him, my friend Jonathan, who came up with the whole, "Why
Yeah.
don't you just use your DJ name and be Get Psyched?" So that's where that came from.
That's a cool name. Wait, how did you come up with the name Psyched? Is it like rooted in psychology or something completely different and I'm way off?
No, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It was the psychology thing. I was trying to make my DJ name like relevant somehow, and everything I came up with before DJ Psyched was too plain. Like if I was
Well,
DJ Diaz, like this, I don't know.
let me hear some of your DJ name prototypes before we came up with DJ Get Psyched. Let me hear them. We got DJ Diaz. What else? Let me hear some embarrassing ones.
Um,
There's got to be some
oh,
embarrassing ones.
there are so many. I think one because I have this like stuffed animal named DJ Snuggles. I wanted to be DJ Snuggles for a while.
I like that one. That one's
That
cool.
was, yeah, that one would have been. I would have probably laughed too much on air trying to be serious with that.
Hey, this is DJ
I can't
Snuggles. I am
remember.
here with. I have. There
DJ.
was. I don't know if you remember. There was like a brief period of time where I was trying to like rebrand myself for whatever reason, and like started like I think I released literally one song, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'm Pat Danger, but there was like a very short period of time where I went by like Sad Man Mel, and the way I got that is I was driving in like upstate New York, and there was this motel. It was called Sandman Motel, and it was like this cool ass neon sign, and it looked like it was straight out of a movie. But everything up there is so run down and like dilapidated and shit that the only letters that were ever illuminated spelled out "Sad Man Mel," which is cool, I guess.
Oh,
So like for a very brief time, I'm like, I'm going by Sad Man Mel. But then I I nixed the idea. I'm like, nah, you're Pat Danger. You just gotta kind of you're stuck with it at this point. So I was gonna say before I would like to put this on YouTube if you don't mind.
oh yeah,
That's cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. I need to. I was gonna say before. I need to get like. I need to get my editing game up. My YouTube editing game up. It's kind of. So let's talk about your. Let's talk about what you do first off. You have your own podcast, right?
Yeah.
It is called Get Psyched. It's you still go by that, right? Even though you're not on the college station. right now.
Yeah. Even though I'm not an employee of the station anymore, since I'm not a student, they are still supportive of my podcast, so they post it still for me. So I still do that. I just don't do it as frequently as I used to.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I think I've been on your podcast twice at this point. The first time was a long time ago. It was that phone interview. I'm sure you remember. And then you got super professional on me, and then we had like that actual video chat on Zoom or whatever the hell it was on, which is cool. I enjoy your podcast a lot. You're at episode what right now?
Oh, great question. I'm somewhere in the 40s, I believe.
Okay, are you still kind of
I
doing?
really don't use the episode number.
Okay, you kind of just do. I don't know. You're here with whoever. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're on episode 40. That's a lot of episodes. Are you still kind of doing it every? I know at one point you were kind of doing it every week. What are you kind of at now? And I know you got a lot going on. Congrats on the new job, first off.
Thanks. Yeah, I was doing it every week before, but that just at one point wasn't that feasible. So now I do it once a month. Just because if I was only doing the podcast, I think it would totally be feasible. But since I want to focus on my writing and a little bit on my YouTube, it wouldn't make sense to do everything once a week because that would just be so much.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about your other stuff right after. I want to say I totally agree. It is a lot to do, and plus yours is actually good. Unlike this podcast, yours is actually good and organized. Mine is like, hey, let's talk, and also there's gonna be a huge delay that I'm not gonna tell you about. You'll kind of have to figure that out during it. Um, no, but yours is actually like super organized, which is cool. And I remember when I first started doing this one, I'm like, yo, like I'm gonna do it like every 2 days, and then and then like the first week or the first 2 weeks, I did a lot. I did like 5 episodes probably in the first 2 weeks, and then it's just like this is way too much. Like there's no way this is going. I'm gonna be able to like do this much consistently. So that's cool. I think once a month is a good idea. So besides the podcast, what else you got going on nowadays?
Well, I'm trying to work on what I want to do like full time as like a creator and who I want to be. Like kind of like you were saying before about rebranding. I'm sort of trying to work on that. Not exactly. Like I've tried before to do like cold name like just cold rebrands where I just try to change everything at once. And I think for me, that's not really gonna it's not really gonna be helpful if I just change things because I change my mind so much. So I just kind of gradually change things as I go. But I like to write and make videos. That's what I do. I'm working on short stories and fiction content right now. But I do post nonfiction stuff just because it's a little easier to snap out nonfiction writings. And I want to work on my writing skills. So, it's kind of like that practice when I write very frequently. But I do like to do nonfiction stories on the side too. And same thing with YouTube. Like I kind of make videos that are like easier to create and like don't take too much time, just so I can get in that practice, in front of the camera and also like behind the scenes. But I'm doing these little things right now that just kind of seem easy and put together, but the goal is to learn from each thing so that I can make a bigger project down the road.
Okay, so that's actually really cool. I didn't even know you were working on short stories. Also, August in the chat, what's up, man? Yes, the Danger Show. I see you redeemed Chugga Brew. I'll do that later
Yeah.
after this. I don't want to drink during this. I'm already whatever. Uh, Not drunk or anything. I was just gonna make a stupid joke how I'm like already stupid, so I shouldn't drink any. Um, so that's cool that you're doing short stories. I didn't know you were doing that. I love reading. Um, I was at a point at one time. I've kind of been on and off. During high school, I never read it all. What's up, long boy? During high school, I never read it all. Even when I was supposed to, they're like, "Yo, read this book," and like, "Fuck you, I'm angsty" or whatever. And then I got out of high school and I got to college, and they're like, "Hey, read this book," and I'm like, "Nah, fuck you, I'm still angsty." And then I like out of college, kind of, or I'm still in college, whatever. But then I kind of got to a point where like no one's telling me to read shit. I'm like, now I want to read, and you know what? I want to actually read everything. and I'm gonna whatever. So first I went back and read like all these classic books, um, and then I was at one point I was reading like a book a week, which is like cool, but also like the podcast thing, doing an episode every 2 days, definitely not sustainable either. But now I'm kind of at like a normal level where I just read it, for fun at my own leisure, whatever. We got what genre of fiction do you do short stories in? Great question, Chris. So, what genre of fictions do you do short stories in? Fantasy, etc. That is the question.
The ones that I've published on my website so far, one of them is the one that's I'm doing right now, which I've released part two of, is a kind of more of a fantasy story. It's like a small town that's being plagued by these kind of monsters that are possessing local townspeople, but they have to keep it hush hush. So that one's more like fantasy themed. But my other short stories that are fiction, they're kind of like fiction that reflects nonfiction. So they're things that could be real, like I don't know if that's like realistic fiction or whatever you call it, but they're like basically stories that were influenced by my own life, but they usually do have elements of fantasy in them, so they don't feel too realistic because I don't really like writing very realistic if I'm doing fiction.
That's one of my favorite genres. I don't know what it would be called either. Probably realistic fiction. I'm sure that's probably a genre. But exactly how you described, that's kind of like my favorite shit to read, where it's like it could totally happen, it just didn't because this person made it up, whatever. But it definitely could have like actually been a real thing. So I love that kind of stuff. I know you've been. Well, we're gonna get to your other stuff too, but I want to keep talking about the short stories for a second because that's fucking awesome. I really wish I could write like that. I could write like music wise, but I can't even write like a fucking text message, let alone a short story. Um, how long have I know you've been doing your blog for a while, and we're gonna get to that. But how long have you been writing these short stories? Is this just something you've always kind of done, but haven't been like posting online, or this is like
Sort
newer?
of. No, yeah, definitely been doing this a lot longer than it's been online, and I actually have way more content than is available online. I only have probably like three short stories up right now, but that's just because I'm pretty like critical of myself when I write a fiction short story.
Hmm.
And so if it's not like up to my standards, I'm not going to post it. But I have at one point in college, I got so into writing fiction because just like you, like I didn't read in high school, but in college, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read because nobody's asking me to. And so I read a bunch of books and got inspired. And I just like I would like get up at like 6 a.m. and write for like an hour or two before I went to class in the mornings because I was just so into it at that point. And every morning I would just start writing something, and the next day, if I liked it, I would continue, and if I didn't, I would move on. So I have like this document that's probably like 40 pages just worth of like short stories that were never finished or I just didn't like that much.
That okay, I could totally relate. And from like a music standpoint, I have like Google Docs. If there was a max for Google Docs, I would have maxed that shit out like years ago. I probably have like I don't know, 500 Google Docs. Some of them will literally just be like a sentence and it will like make no sense. Some of them will be an entire song. Some of them will be like 3 pages worth of lyrics, whatever. I know exactly what you're saying, and for one reason or another, it just never gets released, or I might even actually record it, but it just sits in the vault, or whatever. So I totally get that. My next question, I was going to ask you how many. Chris said, "Found the blog. I'll be reading Monsters Inside tomorrow." That's awesome. Shout out, Chris. What's up, Chris? By the way,
Wow.
Chris is gonna be on this podcast very soon too. Great guy, fantastic guy. Um, I guess my next question was going to be how many short stories do you think you have written? Let's talk about ones that aren't like works in progress, I guess. Or no, it could be a work in progress. But let's not talk about the ones that you kind of just said where you have them done, but you're not going to release them.
I would say I've done five that I'm really proud of
Like
because
five that
like
are
it
like
is kind
ready
of
to
a
go.
lot of work. Yeah, because for me, like it is like a lot of work to get a short story from like the ground up because I write it, then I go back to it later to edit it, and I edit it a few times before I feel like it's really there. And unless there's like a really strong punch to the story, it just has to go away to me because I don't want to release stories that like feel
Oh,
Like nothing. And Monsters and is kind of an experiment for me. That story I just was talking about because I
um,
haven't written.
just
Oh, can you
once,
still hear me?
1 second. I think you are frozen. I'm gonna end the call real quick and call you right back. Okay? If you could hear me.
Sounds good.
All right. Oops. Check, check, check. Hey, can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Oh man. Oof, what's going on? Why do I have to be such a boomer?
You back?
Hey, can you hear me? Hello? Is my mic off?
I can't hear anything right now.
Oh man. Let me end it again. Why did I say it went well? It went horrible. Hi. Can you hear me? Oh man. Oh man. Why do I have to be such a boomer? Um I have no idea. Hi, can you hear me? Hello. Hi.
Got it. I
We're
can hear you
good?
again.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. This is my first time using the internet, apparently. Um, I'm sorry. You can continue with what you're saying. My bad about that.
No, you're good. But yeah, I was just saying that Monsters Inside is very much an experiment for me. I have never like released a short story in real time. Like I have not finished the story yet. I'm kind of writing it and posting it as I go. As for me, it's like an exercise, you know? Like if I don't post it, I'm probably gonna start writing this one and ditch it like the rest. But I really liked the idea, so I want to see it through. I mean, the worst that's gonna happen is that it's not an amazing story. It's like I only have so many readers on my blog, and most of the people who read my blog are like people I know or people who have been supporting it for a little while. So I don't feel like anyone's going to be like, oh, you're trash if it's not good, you know? So I'm pretty excited to keep doing this one because there's something about that accountability and having people read and give feedback that just feels so nice.
Yeah, I don't have too much experience with like, I don't know, short stories or anything like that, but it kind of sounds like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of similarities between a lot of creative things, but it sounds like there's kind of a lot of similarities between that and music too, in a sense where I don't know if you feel like this sometimes. I do definitely. And I think a lot of people do. It's like you work on something and then you can finish it and you're just kind of striving for perfection, which is not really a great way to go. So you just end up not posting it because you're just like, well, it's not perfect, whatever. Do you think you should post like in your case, do you think you should post like every short story, or do you think it's good that you only post the ones where you're like, okay, like this one is like great?
Think it really depends on what you want out of it. Like if you're somebody who's really, really trying to build a following and trying to like get your name out there and like short stories is like you're ready to pursue it. I think that it is probably good to be choosy because, you know, when people come to your page, if they see something, they're going to click on one link, make a judgment and decide to stay or not. But when it comes to me, I appreciate people who come and read and decide to subscribe, but I don't feel bad if someone reads it and doesn't because I'm not really working on building a following. I kind of am in this phase of my life where I just want to build skills first. So I don't mind posting anything and everything that I want to post because this is an experiment for me. I'm still figuring it out. But when the day comes where I like really choose what I want to write, what kind of stories I want to write and put them out there, I'm totally going to go back and like hide all of the ones that don't fit that.
Yeah. Nah, I get that. That's funny. Yeah, that's like I totally agree. But like you said before, how you're kind of not really doing it for a following, and you're in the stage of your life where you're just building skills. I think that's a really smart thing to say. I'm kind of just like over trying to get a following too. I don't know what it is, but like lately, I'm just like I think I tried really hard for a while to get a following on a lot of things, on TikTok, maybe on here, just in general. And then to some degree, I would say I succeeded or like was starting to. even like TikTok, I got like a bunch of followers, a bunch of likes and shit, but I'm just kind of like, this is whack. Like, I really just don't care. So I'm over the point of trying to get any followers. Um, I'm not like against it. If it happens, it happens. Whatever. I just want it to happen really organically. Um, I'm like kind of just like pushing out this content, and I think I have enough followers on all of my platforms where it's like I know people are still seeing it. So as long as some people are seeing it, I don't care. I think it's if literally nobody was seeing it, which was the case in a lot of times in my creative career, that kind of feels bad. But if as long as some people are seeing it, I really don't care. It doesn't have to be millions. 10 people is fine. You know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when it comes down to like marketing or having a following or whatever, I think that unless you're like trying to make a living right away or you're trying to like if you're at that point where you're ready to do it, I feel like it kind of makes it less fun. So for me, I think like having that foundation is important. Like, you know, you started it, you have all the platforms, you have like an audience that you started building. But
Hmm.
I think for me, I think after you make that initial connection, the work is to like make what you're making the best you can make it because then you've already got those few people who like what you do. You keep putting out amazing stuff, they're going to tell their friends are going to tell their friends, and the marketing is out of your hands, you know? I don't know who said it, but it's like the best kind of marketing you can do is to just make the best stuff you can make, and people will spread the word for you.
I think that's a great point, and I completely agree. I think once you have the foundation down, again, um, like you said, once you have the foundation down, just kind of try to perfect your craft. And I kind of caught myself not doing that. So I had the foundation, and then I kind of got greedy, and I'm like, oh, I need all these likes, and I need all these followers, or whatever. And then I even caught myself like it was like I literally like looked at myself in the mirror, like, what are you doing? It was to a point where like I was trying to make like a TikTok viral song. So like I would write 15-second songs, and like I'm like, oh, like I want this to go viral on TikTok. And like it's not like I would ever finish the song. I literally wrote it for TikTok, like a 15-second little thing. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, are you a musician or are you like a fucking TikToker? Like, come on. And I'm like, yeah, this is really just not what I'm going for. I don't want to be a TikToker. The only reason I use it is to promote my music. So I kind of caught myself in that sense, and I'm back to the roots where I'm making the kind of music I want to make. I'm like back to like my kind of weirdish, experimental, whatever you want to call it, old Pat Danger that I just love. And if I love it, that's all that matters. I don't care if it has to be like a trap song or it's got to be super catchy. Obviously, you want it to be catchy. That's a bad example, but I'm kind of, I don't care. I don't care if it's all gibberish. I don't care if it rhymes. No. Um, yeah, I'm kind of making my own shit again. The stuff that I honestly like to listen to. And if I like it, that's all that matters at the end of the day. If other people like it, that's like just an added bonus, which is cool. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's like yeah. What?
no, I'm sorry. I rudely cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say it's like a lot of people say, you know, like if you like it, someone out there is gonna like it too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And plus, if I am making these 15-second TikTok songs that I don't even like, does it really matter if even 100,000 people like it? If I don't even like it, that's like, all right. So these 100,000 people like some fake TikTok shit that I don't even believe in. Or can I make like one of my weird Pat Danger songs and you and John and like two other people fuck with it? It's like, all right, do I got four real friends fucking with it, which is cool, or do I want 100,000, people out on randoms online who like this one thing? Um, so we covered the short stories. Let me see what Chris said real quick. He might have dropped some knowledge. Social media has warped many societal beliefs in being famous instead of being happy. Although it's possible to be both, most people will gravitate to happy people subconsciously. Best to do your own thing and let those love it for what it is than have it used for clout. Couldn't have said it better myself, Chris. You were dropping some knowledge. I think we're all kind of on the same page with that, which is cool. And I think, like you said, a lot of people just want to be famous or want clout or want followers or whatever. And there probably has been periods of my life where I could honestly admit that I wanted that too. I'm just really at the point where it's like I don't want that. I'm just making music because I like to make it, and I'd rather have real people listening to it. So we covered your short stories. Let's talk about the blog. How long have you been blogging for?
I started that at the end of last year on this website that I got. I actually had an old website. I don't even remember what that's called, but I got rid of that website.
DJSnuggles.webs.com.
It was some weird Wix site.
Yeah, been there. So how often do you make a blog post?
I'm doing it every week now. I do blog posts every Friday and then videos every Saturday.
And videos, as in what?
Like just YouTube videos.
Okay, that's cool. So like, what kind of videos do you make, or is it like random stuff? Like, what was your last
So,
video, if you remember?
uh, well, my last video was me and my fiance just talking about our favorite like stories of when we started dating. That was just kind of like a pride special because I try to keep it timely.
Okay, that's cute.
Um,
I like that.
but yeah, but usually what I try to do is make my YouTube videos like reflect my blog posts. So if I like write about something, the video is going to be about that same thing. But lately, it hasn't matched up like that. But that's ideally what it's supposed to be.
That's pretty cool. So you do it kind of. You're a busy person. You kind of do everything yourself. You edit these videos down yourself too, correct?
Yeah,
You've been editing for a while, right? Editing videos for a while.
yeah, it's been a little while now.
Okay, that's cool. So you got
I,
the.
I actually, oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know if you know about this one, but I did have a YouTube page that I made back in college. Is when I first learned how to edit and record, and that was an account where I just did guitar covers because I used to play guitar way more. I don't think I could play that good anymore, but I would just like record myself doing short covers of songs. I could do a minute or two of them because I was in college and just didn't have time to cover the whole song.
Mhm.
And it's actually really funny because that account still has more followers and views than my current one, and I only had it for a little while.
I uh I made a. I can relate to that kind of thing. I kind of have like a funny-ish story. Um, I had like not a viral video by any means, but it got 50,000 views, and I think I want to say I was probably 12 years old when I made this video. Um, and it was the only video on my account. And I remember I had like a little handheld video recorder, and you had to put batteries in it, and it was really shitty. And I straight up just plagiarized. Like I straight up pirated this video. I took my little I took my little not YouTube, my little video recorder. I searched up a YouTube video of the people on the Jersey Shore doing some stupid dance, and I just literally recorded it and I posted it as my own, and it got like 50,000 views. So totally a scumbag move by my 12-year-old self, but I regret nothing. Um, Anyways, but yeah, same kind
Yeah,
of thing. That shit ended up getting like 50,000 views, which was kind of crazy to me. Um,
yeah.
so
Uh,
you got the short stories, you got the blog going on, and you have these videos you've been making. Uh, I haven't had a chance to watch your videos yet. Do you kind of make them in like the YouTube style of editing, where it's like quick, like said Pat Zoomer steals a video and got 50K views. Yeah, that's right, long boy. And I would do it again. um, so these YouTube videos you post, are they kind of in the style of? I'm not gonna be able to word this without sounding stupid. Stupid. I was gonna say, is it in the same style as other YouTube videos? Like, I guess I want to like maybe like David Dobrik's vlogs, where it's like quick like clips put together, like quick like 5 minute things, or is it like longer videos?
yeah, no, it's definitely not like David's style. They're kind of longer form videos. Most of what I do right now is like A-roll, but I have in the past, like before I started working, back when I was in college, I started this channel when I was finishing up college. And when I had a little bit more time after my classes, I would put more time into my videos. Like I would shoot B-roll shots. So kind of my style is more like, I don't know if you've ever heard of like Matt Diavella, but I try to do like I'm sitting there talking in A-roll, and then whenever I say something, like a B-roll shot will come up that like matches it. I kind of like that style because it's very like organic storytelling, but then it also has that, B-roll just kind of makes things look cooler, more professional, and it's more engaging for the audience. But lately, I just kind of haven't had the time. It really does take a lot of extra time to just set up B-roll shots and film them and then add them in. But on a video I did recently, I started like the one I was just talking about, I did with my fiance. I just kind of inserted a few pictures, and what I do to make my videos slightly more interesting is I use actually PME's beats. That beat that I use for the podcast is
Hmm.
PME's 300K. He lets me use that beat a lot in my videos, which is awesome of him, and I think it really makes them shine. I think the music kind of just it usually helps make it look more interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting the way you have it set up. I think that's really cool with the B-roll footage. I also think that's really smart. Um, and I feel like that's more genuine in a sense because the way I guess the question I was kind of asking before, which you did answer, but I just didn't word it right. Is it like and not? I was gonna ask if it's like kind of like clickbaity, but I didn't mean it in like an
Mm,
offensive way. I meant like,
no.
is it like content where it's like, yo, boom, boom, highlight, 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 or is it like cool shit that you're talking about where it's like, all right, you're telling a story and like there's B-roll footage and like,
No, yeah, that's a great question. I do not believe in clickbait at all. I think it just does not make for good content, honestly, like in the long run. Like
Mhm.
it might make one interesting video that gets a bunch of clicks because people are interested, but those people will not stick around to your channel, especially if you like clickbait them and your video isn't even what it was supposed to be. People aren't going to want to see you again. And I wouldn't have fun making that kind of content either. My content is very much like me. Like at first when I started my blog and my YouTube, I kind of thought, man, I talk too much. I talk way too much. But that's how I like to talk. Like if I'm going to talk about something I'm passionate about, I'm going to elaborate, I'm going to give details. I'm the kind of person when I make a YouTube video about something, I like to do just a little bit of research and also like bring in stuff that's relevant. So if I'm talking about, some kind of self-development thing, I'm going to talk about the books I've read or the people that I've heard talk about it as kind of like supporting evidence or just to kind of make my point and to share more. And so yeah, my videos come out a lot. They're not quick paced at all. They're very informative, I like to think, and they're like you'll know exactly what I'm saying by the end of it because I explain myself the best I can. And that's kind of what my blog and my YouTube channel are at the moment. Like I just find a topic that really interests me and I try to inform as much as I can on it, but still be entertaining. Like I don't want to sound like a professor, but I'm also not trying to like zoom, 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 and you have to do your own research to understand what I even meant.
Okay, that's kind of cool. So you're like, yeah, I like the style you do. That's probably my favorite style. I guess that's kind of like a style I try to go for too, where it's like it's not clickbait by any means, but it's also like you don't want the people watching it to kind of like fall asleep, where you're just like, yeah, no, I think we're on the same page. I totally agree. I got to get my editing skills up because I literally just cut the beginning and end of like these podcasts and just post like 45-minute long blocks. And like, I totally get why people wouldn't want to watch that. I'm not like offended, like, this person who doesn't know me isn't going to waste an entire hour and a half watching this podcast. It's like, no, I know why you guys aren't watching it. It's so fucking long. And like, I don't do any edits. I don't even edit out any pauses. Like, if I weren't a half wit, I'd probably edit out the technical difficulties in here or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I'll get there little by little. He said, Chris said better than 3 hour blocks. I mean, you're right. Yeah, it is a little bit better than 3 hour blocks. I have to check out your videos. I don't know why I haven't already. Just haven't. I don't know. Anyways, so you got the short stories going on. We got the blogs. We got the YouTube videos, which is cool. Um, do you have any? Longboy said, "Hey, I can do editing for you." Really? First off, Longboy, by the way, Longboy did my entire Twitch layout. Longboy is an
Hey.
awesome artist. Art out. Longboy is an awesome artist. They did my entire layout, including transitions and all this other shit that a boomer like me would never be able to understand. Shout out Longboy. Longboy is my one and only mod on here, the only moderator. Um, so I think I asked you this before. Have you ever thought about doing your podcast on? Do, you have a Twitch, but do you stream anything?
No, I don't stream anything right now. Honestly,
Oh,
that's
one
just
second.
mostly because
I think I jinxed
between
us again. Literally, when I was
my
talking about,
frozen,
yeah, of course, when I'm like talking about technical difficulties, I should have just kept my mouth shut. I'm just gonna hang up and call you right
my
back
face
again.
froze on a.
Why did I have to say anything at all, guys? Hello, can you hear me? So why does my mic only work sometimes on here? Hello, call again. Hi, hello. Oh, can you hear me? Oh no. I'm literally the worst podcast person ever.
You hear me?
Yeah, can you hear
Uh, I can't hear you again. Why?
me? Hi,
I can hear you again.
you can hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. Sorry, I'm like the worst podcast person ever. I think it's because I was talking about technical difficulties. Somebody from Twitch probably saw it and they're like, "Yep, fuck this guy." Um, I was gonna ask, have you ever a couple questions? I guess Chris said Discord is literally the worst. Yeah, I should probably start doing Zoom or some other shit. Maybe I'm gonna look into that. Um, I should. Uh, I feel like what would be cool is first you have a Twitch. I know, Leanne. Do you stream or no? Not really.
No.
I feel like it would be cool. I would totally watch it. I don't know if people do this on Twitch because again, I'm pretty new to Twitch, and I don't really like explore too much. I pretty much stay in like music or podcast or just chatting or whatever. Sometimes I'll watch those hot tub streams. Um, I feel like it would be cool if you read your short stories on like stream. I'm not saying right now. I'm saying like you could do that like your own streaming thing.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. Actually, I mean, I don't plan to do it anytime soon, but I've always like wanted to work towards doing something like that on my YouTube channel, like whether it be just reading them and making like a very like elementary what is it called, animation to it, or like trying to have somebody
Oh,
act it out or something.
that would be super cool. Oh my gosh, I would watch the shit out of that. I think animation would be cool. People acting out would be cool too. I feel like animation would be so cool, but also I feel like that would be like a lot of work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely start out with like some of the basic animation that you can do on Photoshop, like where it's not even like a moving picture where you just have multiple pictures that go across. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, no, I know. Yeah, so it's kind of like not comic book setup, but it's like yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like
Almost.
a panel
Yeah.
almost, or
Yeah. Just because animation is a lot of work, and I would have to not have a day job to get that going.
yeah, no, that would be insane. Emmett Brown said, "Moving picture." Back in my day, they called that a silent motion picture. Emmett, you're like 30. Stop. You're not that old. Yeah, I think that would be cool. I think I told you before too. I think it would be cool if you ever wanted to do your podcast on like a stream too.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty neat, but I'm definitely one for editing on my podcast, so I don't know if I want to do it live.
Yeah, you don't want it to be like me, just like a 45-minute like fucking block or whatever. So you got the short stories, you got the blog, you got the videos. Anything else creatively you're kind of working on? Those are a lot of things, by the way. You must be busy as hell.
Surprisingly not as busy anymore. I mean, I do still feel really busy, but since I work all the time, I feel like I work way more than I do this stuff, which is sad, but just how it has to be sometimes. But I mean, I like to draw. That's something I'm trying to get back into because I would love to, like I said, kind of do animation type things. I would also love to make a graphic novel someday because those are like I love reading graphic novels.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Have you done like some animation work before?
Not not like professionally or anything. I just draw on my own time. I mean, I did like art in high school. Like that was my concentration, whatever they call that in high school. But I haven't really done that much drawing since then.
Yeah, Emmett, it's episode number 7. That's cool. I didn't even know people had focuses in my high school. My focuses in high school. My high school didn't have any focuses. My main focus was seeing how many drugs I can find or whatever. I don't know. Um, so how long have you actually been drawing for? Because you said that was your focus in high school, but is this just? I feel like I have this theory. I feel like you're born knowing how to draw or not, and I just definitely was not. Have you just
I
been
mean, I
drawing
definitely think
forever?
you could. Oh yeah, I was one of those kids who like I had so many hobbies growing up. My parents did not know what to do with me. Like I wanted to do everything. But I got into drawing when I was really, really little. Like it's so silly, but I used to like I used to use our family printer to print out cartoons. And I
Hmm.
would take this glass, like my mom had this glass table, and I would take the top off and stick the paper under, and I would trace it onto a different piece of paper so I could learn how to like make different shapes and stuff. So I just trace all these figures and eventually, like when I got a little older, I didn't need to trace anymore. I just freehanded it. So cartoons was my thing growing up.
So that's awesome. First off, two, it kind of reinforces my theory. It's like you either know how to draw or you don't. At like a certain age, no, it's something you could learn over time. I'm sure. I just feel like everyone I've talked to who draws, they're just like, yeah, I've been doing this since I was -4, and it's not like something anyone's ever been like, yeah, I started when I was 20. Um, so what is your favorite thing to draw? You started off drawing kind of cartoons, right?
Yeah. Yeah, cartoons have always remained my favorite thing to draw. I did like in high school, I started getting into drawing portraits and more realistic looking things. And at one point, like
Emmett, shut up.
I've been through a lot of phases.
Sorry.
I've been through so many phases, and when I went through my drawing phase and I drew like every single day after school, like I was always drawing. I got pretty decent at doing portraits, but then again, like I switch hobbies all the time. So as soon as I picked up a guitar, I stopped drawing. So I don't really like have the skills to draw a portrait that much anymore. So it's still animation for me. Maybe a little bit more anime style now that I read a lot of graphic novels.
I feel like no, I totally get that. I feel like if I could draw, the first thing I would do is like draw myself a tattoo and and get it done. Also, Emmett said to quit devaluing devaluing your hard work. All right, sorry for
Thanks,
can we kick Emmett? Where's my mod at? Long boy, kick him out of here, block him, and get him banned from Twitch. All of those in that order, please. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Yeah, so I think if I could draw, I would probably draw myself a tattoo and get that done. Have you ever thought about something like that?
Um, I did design. I designed all my tattoos. They're not good. They're not like intricate pieces of art, but I did draw them all just because I wanted to make sure they came out how I wanted them to look. Which, like, I love tattoo artists, and I would love to just let an artist do their own work for me someday. But I'm so broke. All my tattoos cost like $50, $60. Like they're cheap little things. So I just wanted to make sure I gave exactly what I wanted, walked in and walked out, you know?
Can we have a tattoo tour?
A tattoo tour? Yeah, sure. I'm telling you, they're like not good. They're just so basic.
I've seen your front bottoms tattoo.
Yeah, that's the first one I ever got when I was 18. I'm trying to like see if I can, because it's this lag. I don't even know if you
All
can
right,
see it,
just do
but
a just do a
how was the front
handstand.
bottoms? The
That was a
front
front
bottoms is a
bottoms one.
great band, so
I
yeah, I
agree.
had to get the front bottoms. I love that band.
I think that's probably one of the first things that we just bonded on. I guess right, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. One of us brought it up like, "Hey, front bottoms." We're like, oh, "That's the best band ever, and we love them." And oh my god, you love them too. Whatever. Totally agree. Great fucking band. What else do you have?
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of what the next one I got was. Probably this one on my ankle. This is gonna be like yoga right here.
Oh,
That it
B.
says boy on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it just but the dots, it's not actually the word boy. It's BOY. It's actually this thing Haley Williams used to draw on her shirt during the Riot Days, and I'm a big Paramore fan. And as you could tell, I'm a huge music fan. That's why my tattoos are all kind of music themed. But yeah, it just stands for beware of you. And it's like this thing that she always used to talk about where, you have the power to build yourself up in this life and you have the power to tear yourself down. And I really liked it when I heard that because I think, that's really true. It's pretty easy to blame a bunch of like other things on what's going on in life, but you got to remember that at the end of the day, your attitude, your mindset, you are in control a lot more than you expect.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's very easy for people to put the blame on anything. I don't know, their environment or something bad that happened to them or like kind of whatever. Um, it's kind of like I don't know, take some responsibility. Maybe. Um, let's
Yeah.
talk about music. You're a huge music lover. You love the front bottoms. You love Paramore. First off, what what did you listen to as like a kid? Like, did your parents play music in the house? Like, what's like kind of the first music you remember listening to?
Um,
I
so
agree,
my
by the
parents
way,
were very
Chris.
different on music. Yeah, I agree with Chris as well.
Yeah,
Definitely a folky punk vibe. But growing up, my parents were like kind of very split on their music taste. My mom was more into like older rap, like 80s rap. We're talking like Children's Story. I love that song. Slick Rick. And then my dad was like a Queens fan. He was more into like older rock type music. So Queens was actually like the band I heard the most growing up. I love Queens still to this day. Like You're My Best Friend, Fat Bottom Girls. Those are some of my favorite songs still. But those
nice.
weren't really what influenced my music taste because I have four older sisters, so I grew up listening to everything that they played. We all shared like an iTunes library, so I was stuck listening to like like early pop music like a lot.
First off, that's awesome with your parents how you kind of cover the full spectrum music wise. Um, 80s rap to Queen, and I'm sure like a lot of things in between. I've said this a lot. I really didn't even listen to my first rap song until I was like 16, um, just because I'm a weirdo. But that's cool. So what do you think influenced your music taste most? Your four older sisters? I guess it might be
Yeah,
a
I
combo,
think what
right?
kind of influenced Yeah, I think the biggest influence for me was one of my siblings. I don't know, she just stopped listening to pop music in high school. She started listening to like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco, the early punk bands that started to get really big during that time. And I was like, wow, like, because I mean, I liked pop music, but like, I was really emo as a kid. Like, I had the black
Yeah.
eyeliner and everything. Like, I loved being emo. So I just started listening to that kind of stuff. As soon as I started hearing emo music, my music taste went from early pop to like just all emo, my chem, everything.
Oh my God, My Chemical Romance. Also, when I do this YouTube video, I am going to edit in a picture from your emo phase, and we're gonna have we're gonna edit that in. Probably let it play for 3 or 4 minutes. That might be the thumbnail as well, and then I'll think of some sort of clickbait title. Anyways,
Oh
that's
man.
cool. I think I was probably emo on the inside as a kid. Maybe. Like I like those kind of things too, like My Chemical Romance. I went through like a phase where I would all listen to that like I don't know if what it would be called, just emo or emo pop. I don't know, but no, I totally agree. I think let me see what Emmett's saying. Emmett said Emmett said My Chemical Romance is pound for pound better than the Beatles. That's objective. All right, you know what? On second thought, don't ban Emmett just yet. He's spitting facts right now. Quit distracting yourself with the chat, bro. You're in the middle of a podcast and stop saying shit in the chat. Anyways, let me stop distracting. Fine, I won't answer to the chat. Um, Anyways, yeah, no, I definitely listened to like a lot of emo music like that growing up too. I don't know if it has like an influence on the music that I make, but like definitely had like an influence on the music I listen to. And like I still listen to a lot of like emo, pop punk. I would say I on most days I would probably listen to a lot less rap than you would think, and it's a lot more like different kind of rock or pop or shit like that.
Ah, I can't hear you now.
Oh man, am I fucking muted again?
Oh, okay. You're back. I just missed the last thing you said.
Oh, I was gonna say that I listen to a lot less rap than you would probably think on like a day to day type basis. I really listen to a lot of like pop type stuff or rock and not so much rap in like my day to day life. You know,
Yeah.
really depends.
Yeah.
Get that off my screen. Oops. Okay, we're back. Um, yeah. So I know you used to. You used to. I remember you've sent me like some of your stuff before. You used to kind of make music. I'm
Yeah.
trying to ignore what he's
Yeah, I
saying in the
did.
chat. Sorry. Um, do you still do that or not really so much anymore? I know you said you used to play guitar too. I think I've seen a video of maybe you sent it to me at one point. I think I've seen a video of you actually playing guitar before.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, like the Instagram that I use now, I was still posting my old guitar content just so that people had something to attach my name to. But I did play music for a while. Honestly, it's kind of crazy to me that I don't do music anymore because that was my whole life in high school and early college. Like when I was in high school and I started playing guitar, I thought that I was for sure going to be a musician forever. And so I went to college, I kept playing music, I joined every music club on campus, and I even started making some music myself. But I don't really know when the shift happened. I just stopped feeling the same thing I felt for music, like creating it wise. So it was really hard for me actually to start making videos and writing because I felt like I was abandoning music, but it just kind of wasn't what I needed at that time anymore. Which is really frustrating because I would like to be the kind of person who could just do one thing for my whole life, but I've talked about this before. Like I'm really just not built that way. I just my mind I go towards whatever happens and whatever I'm interested in, and I like to do multiple different things. But yeah, to make the long answer short, I did make music for a period of time, and I do still make music, but not publicly. The music I make is for my fiance, really. Like I've made her a few songs just to show her like that I care about her, or whatever. But I don't really like make music to publish. I'm not a good singer by any means, and my mixing and mastering is butt. So it's just kind of like acoustic versions of these songs I write that I have.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was asking too, because when I first met you, I don't know if you were. It's been what, 3 or 4 years? Or am I exaggerating? Let's say 3 years, maybe. That could be accurate, right? I have no,
Yeah.
I have no sense
Oh
of
yeah.
time. Okay, so we'll say 3 years.
Almost. Yeah. No. No. It has because I was 20 when we met. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I think when I first met you, I'm not sure if you were writing short stories at that time and if you were doing the blog at that time or the podcast. I'm not sure, but I remember you were super, super, super into music, um, making it, recording stuff, doing covers, um, kind of anything music related. And it's not a bad thing at all, but I was going to ask you kind of like, it almost seems like it shifted where now you're doing like a lot of writing, you're doing a lot of like content creating, stuff like that. So I was going to ask you kind of about that shift. Were you when I
Yeah.
first met you? Were you doing those things or was it before you started doing like the short stories, blogs, stuff like that?
That's the fun part. When we met, I remember that time period very well because it was a very weird time in my life, actually. But when we met, I was like not, I was not doing things the way I am now, like very organized. Like I was working at the radio station, so I was very involved in music. But behind the scenes, I don't even know where these things are or if they still exist. But I had an anonymous Tumblr that I would post, and I would write all kinds of stuff on my anonymous Tumblr. I would also make
Oh my God, no, we got cut off again.
videos that I never
Oh,
put anywhere. I have so many videos from college
hey,
that I never edited or put anywhere.
hey,
We did.
just
Uh,
sorry for being the worst. Hold that thought for 1 second. We got 8 minutes left. Of course, it had to happen. I'm gonna call you right back. Hello. Can you hear me? Where's my IT guy? I need to get my IT guy in here. Hello. 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 Hey, can you hear me? Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi, can you hear me? Ah. Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
Yeah or no? Wait, yeah, because you're responding, right? Hello?
yeah. I can hear you.
Alright,
I
cool.
can hear you.
Sorry about that. Very sorry about that.
What was the last thing we were talking about?
You were talking about your anonymous Tumblr.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if that thing still exists out there, but I was just posting random stuff, making all kinds of videos that I never really posted anywhere. But at that time, I was also very into working out, so that was like my main focus. And most of my videos were based around working out. Most of my writing was based around. We talked about this when we first met. I was super into stoicism and meditating, so
Yeah, I
most of my
remember.
writing was just like I would just write about my experiences with meditation and stoicism. So it was all like very minor. Like I didn't think I would ever want to write or make videos regularly. It was just something I was doing as an outlet for all of this other stuff I was doing. But at some point, I enjoyed writing more than the music. And that's when I was like, oh, maybe I should change things.
Are you still into Stoicism and meditation, by the way? I just read a book on Stoicism recently, The Good Life.
I am, but not as much as I was. Like I used to
Same,
like
yeah.
meditate like every morning and I would read my stoicism stuff all the time, but it's kind of like something I just go to every now and again now.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I would say the same for me with the Stoicism. It's something that now and then I'll read like a book about it. Like I just said, I kind of read a book about it. Um, I I've been trying to get into meditation like forever, but like for some reason just never stuck. And like once in a while I'll try to do it again. And then I'll like search up a guided meditation and I'll do like 5 minutes out of like a 20-minute one. I'm like, yeah, fuck this, and I'll just open my eyes and like turn it off and do some other shit. But never was able to get too far into meditation. You know,
Yeah.
not for everybody.
Yeah. I'm not a meditation like expert or anything, but I found that like, you can meditate in a lot of different ways. And I think for me, like what ended up being my favorite thing was just kind of going on walks. Because when you're walking, you're not really focusing on anything. You could just zone out, but it's not as like sitting down and meditating is so much harder than just walking and kind of letting your mind do its own thing.
No, I think that's a great point. Um, I can't sit still and not move any muscle in my body and meditate, but like I can put on like some background music and like like work out like at my house or whatever, or do something I need to do around the house. And I don't know, I'm sure that's not technically meditation. Unlike any person who actually meditates would probably just call me a moron right about now. But I feel like in a sense it's like meditation. I'm turning my mind off. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if it's like some super menial task or whatever, and I got like my headphones in, and like they're noise blocking or whatever, and I'm just listening to music and doing a certain thing. I feel like that's almost like meditation in its own right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I understand though why some people are so into meditating, like just sitting and doing nothing. Because like there have been a few times where I've done like a guided meditation, and that it can get really like weird. Like you're just when
Yes.
you actually can turn your brain off. and feel like you ever done one of those body meditations or whatever where you're just like sitting there and they're like, well, focus on the feeling in your feet or something weird like that, and you're like, oh shit, I never felt that before you said it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Those ones I really like. But the ones where it's just like empty your mind, I'm like, now what?
yeah. No, I totally agree. Emmett said, Pat, you ever had trouble turning your mind back on after you zonk out like that? Um, when I try to do the actual meditation, like the 5 minute things, like Leanne just said too, it's like I like the ones that specifically tell you some shit. Where like sometimes they're like super guided, and it's like, all right, this is exactly what you're gonna picture, and like a babbling creek and all this waterfall and shit. But like the ones where just like, all right, now you're gonna turn off your mind and turn off all your fears and everything. Boom. Then it's like 8 minutes of just weird, music. It's like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Like, nah, I never really got into that kind of stuff. I always wish I did. I just never could fucking turn off my mind like that if I was just like sitting still. You know, I have like different ways of turning off my mind, I guess. Um, all right, we
Yeah.
got 2 minutes. You can make your closing arguments if there's anything you want to say before we get off, Leanne. We're gonna plug all of Leanne's socials, the blog, the YouTube channel, podcast, all that kind of stuff. Anything you want to say, Leanne?
Uh, I guess relevance to the conversations we just had. I need a
You know what?
second.
That's okay because all right, you know what? Maybe I will start doing this at the end of the podcast. Let's have a quick Q&A session with Leanne. Emmett said not even a Q&A session. All right, if anyone has any questions for Leanne, we'll give you 5 minutes. We'll give you till 9:34 if you have any questions. He said, "How do you spell
Great
your
question.
name?"
Leeann, like Leanne.
Good question, Emmett. Anybody else have any questions?
With the what? Apostrophe? Nah, just Leeann.
There we go. Good question. Do you have any authors you would
Authors.
recommend? Eh,
Yes, Chuck Palahniuk. If you can stand things that are maybe a little like sometimes gory and dark. But Chuck Palahniuk is the author of Fight Club, very popular movie a lot of people have seen. I found Chuck Palahniuk because 21, not 21, Panic at the Disco made a song about the book Invisible Monsters. That was the first book I ever read by Chuck Palahniuk, and it's a really good one. Fight Club and Choke, those three are probably his most popular ones if you want to read those.
Great answer. Also a
Do you
great
mind if
question.
people use the apostrophe?
All right, let's how about we move past
No.
Leanne's name? Any
And
non
it's your middle name?
All right, any questions not about Leanne's name before we go?
No, that's actually perfect because Leanne is my middle name. It's not even my first name, but I won't reveal my first name ever. So,
I know it, but you'll never be able to get it out of me, people.
favorite style of drawing? I just like drawing cartoons, specifically old school cartoons like Cat Dog or the
Cat
Coded Kids Next Door.
dog. Oh, Codename Kids Next Door. Let's go. Great, great, great cartoons. Evan said,
Why is My Chemical Romance better than the Beatles? I like some of the Beatles songs, but My Chemical Romance, I think The Black Parade is just an iconic album, and that's all I have to say about that.
Any more questions? Emmett, I know you're dying to ask some more shit. Any more questions? All right, guys. If there's no more questions, oh, did you actually go to NC State, or is that a flex?
Yeah, I graduated from state last year. Ooh, I mean, I just barely got in, but it's a kind of a flex then, I guess.
Definitely a flex. He said, "Did you actually go, or is it a flex?" What did you study?
Psychology. That's why my name is DJ Psyched. Yeah. Oh, right now, my favorite song right now. I don't know if anyone's seen this movie yet. It's really amazing. If you haven't, In the Heights is a really good movie, and I like the song 96,000. It's I just really like the musical because I'm Puerto Rican. I very much related to the story. So you should check out that movie if you haven't seen it.
Can you tell us how crazy Pat truly is?
Meeting Pat was so cool. Actually, no, for real. I when I met Pat, we like vibed the very first time we hung out. And also Pat's a gentleman because he paid for my bowling.
That's right. Take notes, people. He said, "Oh, diagnose him." We don't have enough time for this, Emmett. This is gonna take another hour. All right, you know what? I promise you this. Next time Leanne comes on the podcast, we can have you try to diagnose all of my mental illnesses if we could fit it into an hour. As many as you could fit into an hour, okay? Would that make you happy, Emmett? He
It
said,
would.
"Stop making those faces." All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right, I think we're going to end it before Emmett asks another question. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to podcast episode 7.